Koala Quackstacker, CEO and Big Cheese. Hello and welcome to Cover by Cover. I'm an intergalactic bandit.
And I'm a spacefaring vessel made entirely of impractical, highly flammable materials.
Today we're going to be looking at a historic anime. I mean, at least that's what I've been told. I mean, I've never even heard of this show before today.
Well, I certainly have. I own almost the entire franchise on DVD, and I watched the living crap out of it as a kid. I also may or may not be in love with one of the female leads from the show. Some of you may consider this unhealthy, as she is a fictitious character from a cartoon, but to those people I say, get your 3D PD garbage out of here.
3D PD? I thought we were watching Tenchi Muyo, not Star Wars. Whatever. Ladies and gentlemen, this is all the shit that I just learned about this show today. Tenchi Muyo is the brainchild of Masaki Kajishima and Hiroki Hayashi, who had both previously worked on the Bubblegum Crisis OVA. That is, the one from the 80s, not the one that Will and JT covered. Being fans of lighter fare material, they put their minds together to come up with a comedy anime involving a bunch of cute girls that go to hot springs. Though this doesn't sound terribly original today, you have to understand that this was 1992 and that the concept of a harem anime was not really yet a thing. Sure, some earlier examples including Ranma 1/2 and Urusei Yatsura came before and contained some early harem themes, but Tenchi Muyo is the first anime that involved a single male lead character who is sought after by several female characters. And because of that, is the first anime to be credited as a harem anime. We're watching history here, folks. Sexy, tantalizing history.
However, what started off as a couple of humble Japanese guys who just wanted to see cute girls get naked and lust after a boy turned into a behemoth of a franchise. To put it softly, the Tenchi timeline is a clusterfuck. What we're going to be watching today is technically the first entry to the Tenchi franchise, and is titled Tenchi Muyo Ryo-Oki. Although don't confuse that with this box set called Tenchi Muyo Ryo-Oki, which is actually the third OVA set. You know what, I'm already getting lost. Basically, there are three distinct timelines that mostly rewrite or override one another in terms of continuity, character histories, and story. The only constants are pretty much the core cast. You've got the Tenchi OVAs, Ryo-Oki, as mentioned earlier, Tenchi Universe, and Tenchi in Tokyo. This isn't to mention the three movies that either loosely tie in with one timeline or another, or in some cases barely make any damn sense on their own and almost create a fourth timeline. To top it all off, there are several spin-off series, including Tenchi Muyo GXP, Tenchi Muyo War on Geminar, and Tenchi Muyo, all focusing on a completely different cast of characters who somehow fit into the universe. But not Tenchi Universe. Well, maybe Tenchi Universe. You know what, fuck it. And let's not forget the magical girl spin-offs. So this just leaves the question, where do I start? Oh, hell if I know. We're watching the first one. Start there, I guess. Or just roll a d20. There's practically enough timelines to assign one per side.
So will today's anime stand the test of time? Will it be enough to convince us to binge watch all 849 Tenchi timelines? Will JT ever get a real-life flesh and blood girlfriend? The answer to at least one of these questions is a definitive no. But for the other two, we'll find out soon enough. This is Tenchi Muyo. After a seizure-inducing opening, we're introduced to our protagonist, Tenchi Masaki, as his grandfather finds him dinking around instead of doing his chores. Because fuck chores, am I right?
I bet you were looking for these.
So that's where they are. Oops.
You weren't trying to sneak in there against my orders, were you?
You know, the place with the stuff and the things, aka my sex dungeon. Stay out of there, you little shit.
Gramps says that Tenchi can have the keys if he can take them. Tenchi uses this opportunity to try to punch his grandfather in the face. He fails spectacularly, but apparently somehow gets the keys, despite his face and hands never even being close to where we saw the keys get placed. Tenchi confirmed for Quicksilver.
Now that Tenchi snagged the keys, he traipses into what they unlock, a deep, dark cave. Why he's utterly fascinated with venturing into this place, I have no idea. Perhaps he's secretly a mole, and the siren's call of traveling deep into the bowels of the earth is simply too alluring.
Why must you come here time after time when you know it's not allowed?
But why is that, Grandpa?
I'll tell you why, my boy. A demon sleeps here.
A demon? No.
What? No.
Grandpa Lock and Key decides to go into detail about how fierce and powerful the demon is, but manages to spin it in a way to make both the demon and the battle that imprisoned it sound totally badass, hence utterly failing at dissuading Babby Tenchi from wanting to investigate further.
Now the demon sleeps, held prisoner in this shrine. The sword planted in the ground keeps watch over it. You must remember and respect your ancestor.
I must remember to respect my ancestors. Hey, whose bones are these I'm trampling over?
Oh. Huh? It's just a rusty old piece of junk.
However, being the tremendous fuck-up he is, Tenchi proceeds to not only break the sword by striking a rock, but manages to slice the rock in half as well, hence unleashing the demon. You did it!
Let me go!
It's my safe day.
However, Tenchi rebukes this come-on as he is a good Christian boy and is waiting until marriage. He makes his escape and ties the split binding rock together with some vines, because that'll totally work. Spoilers, it doesn't work.
Suddenly, leaf-generated laser light show B. DJs are getting very creative these days.
There's no time to explain, as we're moving swiftly on to school. Tenchi stares longingly at his hilt when he's approached by, "What's wrong with your face?" Not sure if racist, but just to be on the safe side, I say we should be offended, for the sake of those less privileged than ourselves.
To be fair, there's a chance he is just a regular guy who got stung by a bee. Well, several bees. And also cut off his nose and glued a strawberry into the nose hole. Anyway, this grotesque caricature, posing as Tenchi's friend, asks him if he got laid over summer break. Tenchi takes the opportunity to say that he dated a mummy.
Oh, so you dated bubbies all summer long?
Yep, dried up really old mummies.
All right, JT, you've been training for this your whole life. Are you ready?
As ready as I'll ever be, man. Let's do this.
And go.
What type of food do mummies like? Chicken wraps. What kind of music do mummies like best? Rap music. Where do mummies like to swim? In the Dead Sea. What kind of underwear does a mummy wear? Fruit of the tomb. Why don't mummies have hobbies? They're too wrapped up in their work. What's a mummy's second favorite type of music? Ragtime. What did the disapproving mummy say? Tut tut. What's a mummy's favorite flower? Chrysanthemum mummies. Why was the mummy so tense? They were all wound up. Why do mummies make great detectives? They're experts at unraveling mysteries. What did the mummy say when the neighborhood kids TP'd his house? Impeccable style. What did the mummy say when he ran out of mummy jokes? That's a wrap. Oh.
And time. 29.96 seconds. That's a new record.
Oh man, thanks, coach. I couldn't have done it without you.
Whoa, whoa, whoa. I said it was a new record. I didn't say it was nearly good enough for the championship belt. Let's go again. Pick up those cards.
Okay.
Go!
What type of food do mummies like? Chicken wrap?
We are introduced to Tenchi, a apparent bipolar schizophrenic, who one moment laughs with his doofy friend and the next moment slugs him across the room for the exact same joke they were just laughing about. Our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
Huh? Oh, great, I fell asleep. Missed all my classes and everyone's gone.
Make that apparent bipolar schizophrenic narcoleptic our hero, ladies and gentlemen.
Huh?
Make that hallucinating bipolar schizophrenic narcoleptic our hero.
Enough. I mean, you're right, but...
Oh.
Ryoko.
Huh?
That's my name.
No way.
What? No.
Yeah, we gotta comment on the dub. I understand that this is mid-90s dubbing, but come on. It's like they had these voice actors record their lines seconds after being woken up from deep REM sleep.
It was cold in there and dark. All I want now is revenge.
Okay, we gotta move on. The dub is atrocious. If we spend any more time on it, we'll devolve into even worse delivery ourselves. Anyway, time for Ryoko to try to kill Tenchi so that we can have an action scene.
Why me? It's not fair!
What's the matter, Tenchi?
Whoa! Huh? Oh, great. I've got a good plan.
Sadly, this doesn't happen, and Ryoko discovers Tenchi due to his incessant time wasting and blabbing to himself.
Hey, what's that outside the window? I just used the oldest trick in the book.
Ooh, what is it? I want to see.
Hey man, I mean, despite the terrible voice delivery, the humor in the show is pretty good.
Yeah. You know, it makes me kind of wonder, how funny would our show be if it was dubbed?
What?
Ok, JT, vous êtes très.
À suis prêt que je serai jamais.
Et l'air.
Quel type de nourriture les momies alimentées? Rap au poulet. Quel genre est musique préférente les nomies? Envelopper à musique.
What? I'll get him! Look at me. My hair is a mess.
What? She can see her reflection? But she's a mummy! Continuity broken.
JT, I think you're thinking of vampires?
No, I'm almost positive it's mummies. Next thing you know, there'll be werewolves eating garlic and Black Lagoon creatures carrying around crucifixes.
You are just the worst. Anyway, here comes that narcolepsy again. Another innocent life claimed by random bouts of sleep. Tragic, really.
No, it's okay. The fire alarm startled him awake. Good thing it kicked on a full 10 minutes after the fire erupted. Anyway, the light on the alarm somehow makes Tenchi think of the red jewel on Ryoko's wrist, claiming that it must be the source of her power. This plot ain't gonna goat itself.
Ha! I can beat her. It's easy.
Easy?
The last man who called me easy ended up with mummy rot. I mean, he wasn't wrong about me being easy, but...
Too much? Ugh. Impressive. Catch! I gotcha! Hey!
Oh, hey, look at that. I guess we are watching Star Wars.
So now Tenchi has a lightsaber, complete with lightsaber sound effects. How this anime didn't get sued into oblivion by Lucasfilms is totally beyond me. Ryoko even gets her hand cut off a la Luke Skywalker in Empire. Copyright infringement? The fuck is that?
Oh well, another battle lost. That's the story of my life.
Oh, the sword did it.
Who killed Hannibal?
Ta-da!
Whoa, that was a crazy good hand job. Anyway, Ryoko fucks off and Tenchi gets exploded one last time for good measure. The fire trucks are finally heard in the distance a mere hour and a half since the blaze began. Japanese emergency services in 1992 left much to be desired. Tenchi stumbles home, finds Ryoko in his bed complete with exposed babs, and the episode ends.
Well, after only one episode, I can safely say that Ryoko is my waifu.
Like you'd stand a chance with that silver-haired vixen. She wouldn't settle for anything less than a cultured gentleman like myself.
A cultured gentleman? Whatever you say, toothless.
You really want to get in a personal insult battle with me there, chunky monkey?
Who you calling monkey? Wait. Stop. This isn't like us at all. We're friends, right? We shouldn't be squabbling over a woman like this. Bros before hoes.
Yeah, I agree.
Thank you.
That Ryoko's a hoe.
The next episode begins with that laser light show we caught a glimpse of back when Tenchi was pilfering Ryoko's tomb, if you know what I mean, and a woman emerges from a tree.
All systems activated. Unlock the time freeze now. All systems synchronized to breach standard time.
Unlock time freeze? What? Was she put into cryogenic stasis standing up? That seems entirely impractical and uncomfortable. And speaking of uncomfortable, what's the deal with that tent she's wearing?
What planet is this?
Colonized planet number 0315, Earth.
0315? That's weird because last time I checked, we were number 1. America!
Anyway, this chick is Ayeka, and she apparently has a hate boner for Ryoko. She demands that Ryoko be brought to justice, but Joe Pesci informs her that the statute of limitations is about to expire for Ryoko's crimes.
All of Ryoko's crimes will be canceled by statute of limitations at Galaxy Standard Time 00432, or in 5 seconds.
I always wondered what happened to that guy. Guess he finally went home to get his fucking shine box.
Well, now that JT just marked himself for death, we cut back to Ryoko and Tenchi's bedroom bonanza.
Now, I want your balls, please.
What? Hey.
Hey, be quiet! What's going on up there, Tenchi?
Sex! I'm having sex with a girl! I'm having loads and loads of unprotected intercourse!
Oh my God! If I were his mother, I'd find some excuse to barge in, but as his father, it's my duty to respect his privacy.
Personally, I would have kicked the door down and said, "No sex under my roof." But Tenchi's dad voted number 1 dad bro, I guess. Ryoko warns Tenchi of the impending doom that is Ayeka, and...
Yes, it's my duty to respect his privacy, but also my duty to record my son's development in sex. Life.
Dad bro status revoked. New classification, perv dad. Ayeka, being the tyrant she is, fires a warning shot that does a considerable amount of damage. This prompts Tenchi to side with evil to defeat an even greater foe, and he relinquishes one of the Dragon Balls to Ryoko.
Guardians of Jirai!
She cannot escape us. Hazaka! Kamadaki!
Konkashi!
Well, the battle is lost, and both Tenchi and Ryoko are captured by Girl Space Hitler. She proceeds to torture Ryoko, who, may we remind you, is now innocent of all crimes due to the statute of limitations expiring, just to find out how Tenchi came into possession of that lightsaber. Meanwhile, Tenchi tries to escape his living forest prison with the only ingenuity he can afford.
Take that.
He is interrupted by 90s anime trope number 47, a little girl with a cute animal companion. Sasami is her name, and she apparently lacks all sense of self-preservation as she immediately lets Tenchi out of prison. Tenchi, the strange alien wielding a box cutter.
Hey, Sasami, could you do me a favor? Could you return me home right now? I was brought here by mistake. I don't have anything to do with anything.
I'll do a favor for you if you do me a favor.
The favor I ask is, don't kill me with that box cutter.
No promises.
Actually, Sasami asks Tenchi to steal an ornament off of sleeping Ayeka's head. Why? Question not the authority of the alien lolly. Do her bidding or suffer the consequences.
Tenchi bumbles into Ayeka's bedroom and instead of pilfering her headband, notices the sword and gets grabby with it instead. Things go about as well as you'd expect.
Yes, ma'am!
I want you to put that scoundrel to death! Hurry, go in there!
Blast! Our large wooden bodies are too bulky to fit through this opening. Quickly, let's light ourselves on fire so we can fit through. Oh no! We've lit ourselves on fire! An unwise move as we are primarily made of wood!
The two but swumble their way into Ryoko's holding area, and Tenchi's magic rod is able to free Ryoko from her overgrowth. She reciprocates.
Now, just a minute. What are you doing?
Nothing to worry about.
Wait, you can't touch this!
Just trust me. Relax.
Come on, stop it! Get away from me!
Shh, be quiet.
Before Ryoko can make Tenchi say, "Oh my lord," Ayeka corners them and confronts Tenchi about the sword. Turns out that he's a distant descendant of her family line and can control the sword and some aspects of their ship. Ryoko and Tenchi escape into Ryo-Oki and drag Ayeka and Sasami into the atmosphere. They both crash land and the wooden spaceship is sundered into splinters. Somehow, Tenchi's house makes it back safely, though now closer to their shrine, and as the characters we've met thus far enjoy a meal, the episode ends. Well, Andy, that was my one true love, Ryoko. What did you think of her?
I think that you're rapidly approaching the rank of lost cause. As for the anime we watched, Tenchi Muyo, I would continue watching.
And I as well.
The early 90s is my favorite era of anime, and I have to say this show does not show its age. The animation is amazingly crisp, and the hand-drawn art and rich color palette are really charming. I also like the music and audio for the most part, with the exception of that elephant in the room.
What? No!
Tenchi Muyo combines two of my favorite aspects of anime, science fiction and sexy ladies. Yes, it suffers from a legendarily bad dub, but to me that gives it a little bit of charm. It's a product of its time that still stands up today. Now, is this first OVA series required watching considering the millions of other Tenchi timelines that exist? Well, that's hard to say, mostly because it's literally been tens of years since I've seen the majority of the Tenchi cinematic universe. I'll have to leave it to our lovely commenters down below as to whether the first entry is the best or whether it's worth passing on in favor of a later version. However, as a purely standalone effort, I'm also inclined to continue watching, partly because the show is a lot of fun, but mostly because I'd do anything for my waifu. Hearts!
Yeah, some of this dialogue and delivery is flat out laugh-inducing. We've harped on that enough though. The highest praise I can give this anime is that it seems like a great kid's show. I don't mean that in a glib or dismissive way. I mean that the story is delivered through expository dialogue that even babbies can follow along with. Are there ever really any stakes? Nah. It's slapstick silly times, so even when hell is being rained upon Tenchi via an enemy spaceship, he'll just safely land in a beautiful girl's boobs. All told, it comes off as pretty tame. However, even as an adult, I enjoyed watching these first two episodes, and I'd be happy to keep going. What Tenchi lacks in manly raw power, he more than makes up for in boyish curiosity, and that's good enough for me. Hey, what was that term that you used at the beginning of the episode that I didn't understand?
Oh, 3D PD?
Ah, right. Well, here's a term that I do understand. I think actually it applies to your situation.
Yeah, what's that?
Incel.
Oh.
But you don't have to be. Here, read a book.
Oh.
Ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for this week on Cover by Cover. I'm Andy Moore.
And I'm JT Camp, reminding you at home, more than one waifu will ruin your lifeu, so choose your animated bride carefully. I'm sure you'd rather be a Tomoya Okazaki than a Makoto Ito.
Nice boat.
Hmm.